Welcome to another episode of Collaborate and Pull Together, a podcast where we like to highlight all things positive on and off table. And today we're going to toe that line of positivity because I got none other than Jody Chocolate Thunder Williams back on the show. Thank you so much, man, for sharing the screen with me again today. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? Thank you, Nightmare, for having me back on the show again. It's been a while, but I'm excited because we got some stuff coming up down the road, another month and a half or so. So I'm excited. Let's get this thing rolling.
Absolutely, man. Dude, it's been a wild ride. You know, I gotta say, I want to be a big nod now, and then I'll do it one again later on to your show, The Can-Am Connection. That thing is amazing. It is the best way to fire off my Monday. For those of you who don't know, talk about towing the lines. You know, you got people from all different parts and belief systems and, you know, corners of the arm wrestling community associated with this one. Log into Jody Williams's YouTube channel. It's on Mondays around noon Eastern Standard Time. I think that's like what is it, 9 o'clock your time? 9 o'clock in the morning your time? 9 a.m. On the West Coast. So tune into that channel. I mean, he has an amazing podcast. We'll talk a little bit more about that as well in a little bit. But that is one of the things that, you know, I said, I need to get this man back on the show with everything we got coming up, everything that's been going on. You know, just recently we had an amazing show. I think it was a pretty amazing show, in my personal opinion. I mean, yeah, I had some gripes here and there about certain scenarios with East versus West. But I got to say, for me, Bogdan Stoica became the new people's champ. That was my takeaway, by far.
You know what, Dan? Here's my point to that. And by the way, that match just came out on East vs. West. So anybody want to go see it, go to their YouTube channel, and that match is out there. You can see for yourself. But after Bogdan took still, you know, footage from the match and posted on social media, and it was like, the hell I did elbow foul. Look, I'm like the guy pinned the guy and my elbow's on the pad. If I'm the referee, this is just me. I'm not, you know, Dexter Tan, I'm not Baxter, I'm not the head referee, Luke Poster, but I'll say this though. If I was the ref, head ref, down ref, whatever, if I was one of those refs and I saw that, I would have did some damage control. I would have said, hey, you know what? We made a mistake. We apologize. So sorry. Hope you forgive us. We'll do better. Or something like that. But I never saw it. I didn't see nothing like that.
Listen, I'm nowhere near on their level either. And I'm in the same boat as you. Look, I'm no, you know, they might have they operate here. I'm like way down here, right? So, but like if I make a mistake and I know I made the mistake, I'm going to make sure those who are a part of it, who are viewing me, like, hey, like, listen, I'm sorry. I'm going to do better next time. You know, I'm going to improve upon it. I think that that's one of the things, transparency, you know, and we're going to talk a little bit about this last weekend's events. You know, transparency is crucial to success. If you're not transparent and you're not honest about where you're done messed up, then people kind of lose your, you know, interest in you because you lack credibility at that point, right?
Well, if this was a world championship tournament like a WAF Worlds and the referees did that, what would happen to them? Would they get reprimanded? I don't know. But when you have, and I don't think, and first of all, I mean, I understand that match between Nugo and Bogdan was like a catch weight. Don't even get me started on how the guy didn't make weight to begin with. I mean, the match is already a catch weight. You still couldn't make that weight that y'all agreed upon. So the way I see it is that's a disrespect to your opponent. That's a disrespect to the organization that, hey, I can't make this weight. If you knew months in advance, right? If you knew months in advance that, hey, you're going to be on EVW 22 and you're pulling Bogdan, it's a catch weight. You need to be at, I don't know what their weight they agreed upon, whatever, but you need to be at that weight. Then guess what? Then it's my responsibility, my job to go ahead and make that weight. That's just how I look at it. If you want to be, you know, truly looked at as an athlete, then you need to do stuff like that, you know?
Absolutely. Listen, as somebody who always toes the line of like a weight class, to me as an opponent, like that means everything right there. That means everything. You know, I went into this match actually because I loved Nugo's performance against Matt Mask, right? I became a fan of Nugo because of that. But then hearing about this, I kind of lost a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit of interest of following him because really like that's how you're gonna operate.
Well, remember the knuckles up thing with Tom Holland and Ryan Bowen, and how much
Yep.
Bowen got a shit for it. So it's kind of like, all right, dude, you know, and again, you know, you once again disrespect to Tom Holland, disrespect to the organization of Knuckles Up. I'm like, okay, well, now we're having this more. So you sit there, you kind of wonder what should happen. Okay, fine. Nugo, if you win, a portion of that purse you're not going to get because number one, you didn't make the weight, right? There's that. So maybe we take that away, you know, because I don't know how that works out financially. Like, okay, if you win, you get this much. If you lose, you get that much. I'm not sure how that works, but there would have been some forfeiting right there to begin with because he didn't make weight. So.
Yeah, no, I think that there definitely needs to be some penalties, you know, making weight, you know, because some people really do stress the hell out to making weight. Like, so, you know, I'll give you like a much lower level example.
Yeah.
And I freaking hated this man for doing this to me. So Dan Labrie, Danimal out of Ottawa High Hookers. I was on Mac 3 card, the pay-per-view, right? My first debut on the Mac. And we had a catch weight of 172. And I walk around, like I was walking around at the time about 180. And I was like, you know, and because I wasn't necessarily overeating and overindulging, I was like a healthy 180. So doing that kind of cut was a challenge at that time. Massive challenge. And because, you know, some days I was 185, some days I was 180, right?
I'm gonna grab something. I'm listening. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
So, and because of that, though, I had to do a massive cut, or it felt like a massive cut to me. I had to starve myself to get there. I wasn't well versed in the water cut at that time.
Right.
I didn't know how to do it, so I just did a weight cut for, you know, about a month and a half. I was calorie deficit. I was not in. He turns around. He comes in. He makes the weight. But because his walk around, he knew how to do the water cut and everything. He did it all on purpose. He actually admitted to me after the fact that he purposely he wanted me to stay down low, even though the next event that he had, like not even a month later, was at a 180 catch weight.
So, okay, let me ask you a question. What's your opinions about catch weights? Like, what do you think should happen now? Because you know, we see it in UFC, you know, and by the way, hope Zach is watching because look what I got.
Ooh, Zach, nice sticker. Yeah, I got mine right here, ready to go.
So anybody watching the show, so your boy, the Nightmare and the Thunder, you know, we're gonna be sitting up here representing Grip Deck, my friend. That's right. So go check them out, you know. I got the thumb one too, so
yeah, Grip Deck is amazing. It's a game changer for recovery purposes. My hand strength has gone through. I mean, look at that. Even on my left side, that thumb pad, like I'm feeling it good right there.
Now I don't have that version you got with the bulge. I got the flat one, the mini one.
Oh, you got to
have that one.
I got to tell you, the bulge is where it's at.
Do you work your thumb with that one or no?
Oh yeah, yeah. You can because you can isolate the thumb and make it. Oh, you can't see it, but you can make it so that your thumb feels like you're really gripping onto someone's hand. So I'll flatten my hand out,
right,
and then I'll just use the thumb.
Gotcha.
And so it really that alligator claw feel, that feeling where you want to clamp your thumb down. I'm able to really get into that especially for anybody who's into heavy pronation through the thumb. That's exactly what I use it for.
So I got the mini one, right? But
yeah,
you know, it's mini, but it's still decent size. But then I got the one for the thumb, which was this one right there. So, and I use that one. Then I also got the grenade. I got the grenade handle. That's down in the garage. So I got
that's the one that I don't have. I have the orange coming to me next week. I have the lemon, I have the mini, and then I have the max, and I got the thumb as well, and I got the GDL L and R ones as well. I got the one where I can double fist it if I wanted to.
Okay, because yeah, get the QR code, folks. And then he has like a 3 handles. He came out with 3 new ones. He has the lemon, the orange, and then like the beer can. But the beer
Yep.
can was pretty cool because he has a it's not the centers per se, it's like off center, so it kind of gives you that
Yeah,
little.
it's like on a tilt.
And then one of the holes, it has like a cone, like the hole's like a cone, shape of a
Yep.
cone and stuff. So yeah, go check out Zach. I'm gonna try to get a hoodie so that way I can wear it by the time Nationals rolls around. So
Hell yeah. Those hoodies are comfortable. Those hoodies are real comfortable.
So that's my goal. So I have, get you one, everybody. There we go. So
This is the Monster Factory Edition one because he's partnered with Michael Monster Todd, and I gotta say it's a game changer for me. I happen to love it. I do a lot of hand specific, so my hands are always a bit overtrained, so this allows for a good blood flow to it.
I'm excited. So yeah. But getting back to what we're talking about with the catch weight, then why? And I'm not I'm as Zach just put another video out, by the way.
I just talking about timing, right? We did not plan this, ladies and gentlemen. He is not paying us to do this.
I just saw my notification of Zach put another video out for Grip Deck. But if you're gonna have a catch, if you're gonna have a catch weight, then it's like it kills me that you have athletes who, one of them anyway, are not making the weight. It's like, now let's all be for real. There's times I've missed weight for a tournament, but not for a super match. Because for me, I'm at an age where I don't want to cut weight anymore. I really don't. But depending on what the classes are, I may have to. So, and when we talk about Nationals Week, I'll talk more about that once we get there. But yeah, so.
Yeah, no, making weight like that definitely. Like, I like it if you can adhere to it, and there's a clear penalty if you don't. But if you just say it's a catch weight, what's at stake? What's on the table or what's off the table if you don't make that weight? And I think that that's something that, to my point earlier, transparency is key. If we don't have that, what's the point of advertising this catch weight?
Well, I'm pulling Easton McCormick in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
There's no weight. We didn't agree upon a weight. But I think he's going to come in at 242, I believe, because I think that his right-hand opponent, Troy Brown, is around there. And that might be a rankings match. Him and I are not pulling for any kind of rankings or anything like that. We're pulling for a challenge coin, though.
That's awesome.
Let me go grab that right quick.
That's awesome. I like all the different awards that you can get. As you can see over my shoulder, I got a couple of the different match awards and tournament awards. But like challenge coins is where it's at, in my opinion.
So the challenge coin is this right here. Let me see if I can put up. Y'all can see that.
There you go. Arm wrestling challenge, yeah.
Yeah, arm wrestling challenge. And on the backside, it has it was established in 2025, last year. So I'm gonna try to get some more, but basically what this coin is pretty,
that's thick right there.
Yeah, like a silver dollar. So basically what this means is that whoever's in charge of this, whoever has the possession of this coin, it's your obligation to challenge somebody. You know how like if you have the award, a belt or a hammer or whatever, somebody challenges you, well, this is in reverse. Once you have this coin in your possession, then, and I won this at Washington State against Louis Horvath, a good friend of mine.
Yeah, I know who Louis is.
Yeah, we pulled, he had the coin in his possession. I beat him. Now I got the coin. And so now I told Easton, it's like, hey, well, we're not pulling for any kind of, ranking or anything like that. We're not pulling for money, but we can pull for this coin. And he was like, yeah, it's cool. So now when it's all, if I win, I keep the coin and then I look for another challenger. If he wins, now it's his responsibility. But after that, though, next time you challenge somebody, you got to tag me and the person that made these. So that way we know we got to keep that thing in circulation. It's kind of cool. Because I also
is there a time frame? Is there a time frame that you have to challenge somebody?
Not necessarily. I didn't make a time frame, but because sometimes it's hard because sometimes life gets in the way. You got work, you got all kind of stuff, and
Maybe making like a pretty big one, like 1 year after receiving the coin or collecting the coin.
I won that in what, December, so I had January, February, March. So there's 3 months right there. So I'm sure you can find a match in 3 months, and
Yeah, exactly. Something within a year type of deal, I think would be a reasonable amount of time and acceptable. I happen to love that. I actually, I might have to pick your brain because remember, we'll talk a little bit more about it later on. I have my event coming up. I'm always adding things and including things, but maybe I'll do it at the next event.
I've
But
also got something else I want to put in circulation that I have. Matter of fact, it's right here. Not the dragon, but it's right here on the bottom. It's you remember when Corey Miller had the Aries thing going on? The Aries 64.
Yeah.
So one of the awards he has was this right here.
That's a cool award.
So you basically, it's like you pull somebody for it, but the guy that won it was Jonathan Vasquez, another good friend. He won it. He took like 8th place out of 64 guys, and one of the awards he won was that one. So he was like, "Dude, can you take this home with you?" I'm like, "Why?" He goes, I might lose it. Honestly, it's a cool award. I might lose it." It's like, "What do you want me to do with it?" He goes, "How about you and I pull for it down the road?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." So it's been sitting here since 2024.
Okay.
So it's been sitting in my possession. But problem is like I don't pull my right anymore. I got arthritis. It's just like killing my wrist, and so I don't really compete right. This is by accident, So I'm looking, but I did tell him though, one day him and I will go, we'll pull for that helmet. So yeah, but I got stuff here. It's kind of cool, but just to kind of do. I mean, we all seen hammers, and why should all the elite pullers get to have these, awards that circulate? How come the lower level people can't do anything like that?
I love that. I love that idea. And we'll talk a little bit more about those upcoming awards and the upcoming events. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about your training and your prep up for Easton McCormick at the Fallen Heroes, because it's going to be at the Fallen Heroes pulling for Bo Olsen. I admittedly have not met Bo Olsen, but I've heard a lot about him. I heard that he's a stand-up individual, and this is a benefit event to help raise some money for him. He's going to go on, some hardships. Let's talk about your training camp leading up to it, the event itself that you know about, and let you take it away.
Well, the event, Fallen Heroes, was right outside of Kansas City. This will be my second time going. I went back in 2021 and had a match with Roger Learn, by the way. That was a nice. You know what? When you travel to different parts of the United States, you want to get a taste of how those guys pull. It always seems like that. And this is just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right, but I got this thing where if you pull down south, they all have to go into a hook. You pull in the Northeast, they like to go in the hook. You go to the Midwest and then to California, all like the top row. I don't know why. It just felt like that. So, all I've heard up until that point was that, we got some kick-ass pullers here. And yeah, because, of course, you got Don Underwood and his crew there. You got the Logsdons, the son and dad and stuff like that, and just awesome pullers out there. And so when I went in 2021, it's for everybody, Fallen Heroes, right? We're talking about law enforcement. We're talking about fire department, people who have lost their lives in the battle, right? So all that benefit goes to that. I'm glad to go back. But Easton McCormick training-wise, if you're going to beat him, now's the time to do it. Because once he gets everything figured out, he's going to be hard to beat. He has the size. Like I said, the guy's like 6'3", probably 260 maybe 260, something like that. So that's a big boy. And,
he's young too, right?
He's 20. He's 20.
He's got a lot to grow into. That's like one of those puppies, those like Mastiff dogs that have the giant paws that they're going to be a big old doggo.
Right.
Oh, man.
20 years old as in 18, 19, 20, right? So I'm thinking, okay. And honestly, if I'm being honest, I think his dad, want the match more than Easton did, if I'm being honest. And that's not a bad thing. It just seemed like, he wanted to wanted his son to pull me up. Think, okay, yeah, we could do that down the road. I don't know when, but I was having an issue because I don't want to get off track because, when I qualified for the Arnold at Ryan Espy's event back in October in Canada, I had some decisions to make because think about this. March this month is just flooded with tournaments. And I can go any one of them, but it's like going, the best advice I got, came from my wife. And she said, babe, you can't go to every tournament. And she's absolutely right. So think about that. This weekend, what tournaments we're going? Arnold Classic, North America Championships in Ottawa. What's going on next week? MAC, right?
MAC.
The North America Championships in Las Vegas, okay?
Vegas, yeah.
After that, you got the one I'm going to, Fallen Heroes. There's 5. I think Sit Down Nationals went from April to March this year. There's 6. Then you got Winter Blast the weekend after that. That's 7 tournaments in a month.
And they're not little ones. They're not little ones.
And so I'm thinking, I got a serious, it's almost, some people told me, because I posted this on social media. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I really don't. And because I've been to the Arnold before. I've been to Winter Blast before. I want to go back, but I've been there before. And it was like, I don't know what to do, Luckily, someone got in my ear and says, hey, you know what? If you come, a sponsor came to me and said, hey, you know what? If you want to go, we can do this. And don't forget, Nationals the following month. So it's kind of like, what am I doing here? Luckily, I had a sponsor step up. They were willing to sponsor me to Nationals, and they're willing to sponsor me to go to this event coming up because Ball said, I've never got a chance to pull him. I always wanted to, but never got a chance to. And obviously now he's physically unable to do that, So, but to go there and support him again and see him again, because I haven't seen him in person in like 4 years, almost 5 years now. So to go there and help support that, I like doing events like that. Obviously, we do one here that you're coming to in June. So the Long Leg Donald Foundation, we throw a tournament every year, the LOD Summer Bash. So going to tournaments for a good cause, I got a soft heart for it. So I like doing that. So I was like, yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. So
it made it easier to say yes to do that.
Yeah. Now, as far as training for Easton, check this out. And I've been watching because not too long ago, he was on the Montana Armbender, and he had 2 matches. The second match was more of a throw-in because there was an injury, so Easton stepped up, pulled Jordan Seal, left hand, which is when I'm pulling Easton left hand. And, are there lanes there? Sure, there's lanes there. Now, his dad posted a video that they had last week, and he sent one to me, talking with me and Troy Brown, who's also pulling Easton on the right hand. So I'm watching it going, okay, I'm thinking, all right, that's pretty cool. I'm watching, I'm thinking, all right, because he's got some good stuff going on. But the one thing I'm starting to realize, though, if I get too caught up in watching what my opponent does, then I forget what I need to do. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's good to look over that. And kind of, I don't sit there and just, like I used to do like a football coach. You try to dissect an offense on your defense. You just kind of go, okay, that guy goes in motion. We're going to do this. If the tight end's on that side, we got to do that. I don't want to be so hell-bent on what they do. And then when it's my turn to get up there, I forget everything I need to do. And I think that's hurt me in the past. So
that's a valuable piece of information right there, because I'll tell you, I went up when you go into with a very specific game plan based off of your opponent, you sometimes have a hard time redirecting yourself if that game plan doesn't work. Plan A doesn't really work, because for me, like that's exactly what happened in my last super match. Was I went with a very specific game plan, and I became a fish out of water, and I did not have it. I couldn't figure out how to get out of it. And I really, had I tried or implemented other things, would the results be different? I don't know, but nobody would know because I didn't give it a shot. So I had tunnel vision on. You know what I mean?
I'll go a step further. It's basically, if you have a game plan, let's be honest, it's a 50-50 shot because either it's going to work or it's not going to work. So I don't know. I think I told you this before. I've told a lot of people my theory on super matches, right? I treat it like baseball. I treat it like I'm a pitcher. right? You got your fastball, you know, in arm wrestling terms, you got your best move. If I go off the go, my best move, and they stop it, and they drag me over and they pin that, I'm thinking that for a pitcher, I'd be throwing my fastball. Some guy goes yard with it, and it's like going, fuck. Well, guess what? You better have a slider, a breaking ball, a knuckleball, or something else. Because if you don't, then you become a one-trick pony. So if I'm talking to people and, you know, hey, watch out for this, and he does this, he does that, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate it. Even my teammates, I appreciate what you guys are telling me, what you're giving me to. But how come I can't flip the script? How come I have to be the one to watch out for this, that, and the other? How come Easton can't watch out for what I do? You know?
I like that. No, that's a good mindset. A switch up in the mindset. That's a champion's mindset, in my opinion. Right. Regardless, win or lose, they got to watch out. Period. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. Real quick, we got two people in the chat right now that are saying hello. We got Timothy Bushy up from New England. What's up, Timothy? And we got Hector Beltran from Mexico saying what's up, hoping to see us, which I will be coming down to Mexico this year for the first time. Looking forward to it. And
I'm bummed out I can't go this year. I went last year, but I'm bummed that I can't go this year.
Damn, that would be amazing. That is what it is. Dude, that would be amazing. Imagine 3 events like in 1 year. We connected.
You know what? If you go there, it's a good. You talk about the one in Mexicali, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
across the border.
Yeah. So I went there last year. Actually, I competed in like our country, Canada, and Mexico last year. So that was pretty cool. I went there and you got pullers from obviously Mexico, but there's like 5 teams within the country of Mexico that was there. Then you got Puerto Rico that was there.
Yep.
I'm like, okay. And then, you know, I ain't never felt like an outsider until I went there. And, you know, talking to Hector, love the guy, Hector Beltran, him and his wife, Liz. I mean, they rolled out the red carpet. I appreciate them and stuff. And when I went there, they all kind of knew who I was because, you know, Hector was pumped. Oh, yeah, he's coming. He's a good puller. He's coming from America and stuff. And, you know, Derek Smith was there and Paul Steve, Merlene was there. Merlene pulled her super match and pulled the 90 kg men's open class and got a couple wins, by the way.
Nice.
Even in one of the straps. So there you go. But I go there and it was like, I've never felt where I was like going, man, it is me against the world. You know, that's not in a bad way, but just, you know, that you ever walk to a venue and all of a sudden all eyes are on you. And it was cool because I'm taking pictures of everybody. I'm sitting there taking selfies. I can't tell you how much fun I had there, you know? So even when I go to these different countries, what I try to do as a tradition for me, I save some of the money from that particular country and I bring it back as a souvenir. So I got pesos in a Ziploc bag in my dresser. So
I love that. You know, I've been to Mexico a few times, you know, throughout my life, but never to arm wrestle. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity. Looking forward to being a part of that. But let's rewind. You know, we bounced a little bit all over the place. So you got that match with Easton. That's next this month, right? Next month, though, I can't believe it's already next month. Next month, holy guacamole, we got Jody, myself, a couple other guys from New York, a couple of guys from Florida, a couple of people from South Carolinas staying. Oh, we have another guy from, I think, Oregon over by you staying for the IFA Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got to tell you, I shelved every other event because I want to be there. Now, you and I, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I got my gripes. You got your gripes.
Yep.
I will only go to the world level IFAs if I place first, second, or third. That's it. Even though it says on there, they advertise it, and if you compete, you gain entry to the world level. I personally don't think I deserve a place or earn a space if I didn't place.
I tell you what, Dan, it goes like this, and I want your response. If, let's just say, I take fifth. If I take fifth at the IFA National, I don't deserve to go to the Worlds. Do you see what I'm saying? The competitor in me does not, I can't do that. I don't want to sit. And I've seen people they got their team jerseys already. They got their team jerseys for Team USA already. Good on them. But I'm speaking for me, and I've been like this, right? So I got people, and before I get off topic, just one little quick note. The Can-Am Connection, there's 4 of us. Of the 4, 2 of us are on the IFA fence, the other 2 on the WAF fence. And we still get along and do the show. Now,
and I love that. That's my favorite part about your show, to be honest.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, the guys who are on the WAF side are going to cheer for us. Mm-hmm. When they go to WAF, we cheer for them. That's how it is, right? That's how it should be. Now, some people say, how can I say that? What's better competition, right? So if you go to the WAF, it's going to be better competition. I mean, yes, you can agree. Yes, maybe no. Is it deeper? Yes, it's deeper because it has more countries involved in comparison. But it doesn't mean IFA got a bunch of chumps though either. Because if it wasn't for the IFA, all those countries and pullers from the IFA would be competing at WAF anyway. You see what I'm saying? So not only that, but everybody has their own path, right? Yeah. Oh, you should come to WAF. I'm like, I'm going to IFA because I got some I got to finish a story. Okay. So in case you didn't know, I went to the IFA Worlds in 2021. Now, know the history. The first ever one was in 2019 in Poland. That was on the heels of the Nemiroff. Remember those Nemiroff Zloty tournaments?
I remember hearing about them. I joined the sport in 2020. So
okay. So that was a big thing. And that was like toward the end of its, run, but IFA was born. We're going to run on the same weekend as that in the same venue. Okay, fine. 2020 USA got the bid to host, but then the pandemic kind of knocked that out. Yep. They postponed it. 2021 came. Here we are, Orlando, Florida. All right. Now, that was like, you didn't have to qualify for that. You just had to go. I'm thinking, fuck it, why not? I'm just going to go make a trip out of it because I spent the first 2 days, day 1 and day 2, competing at the Masters division. Then after that, I was done. Me, the wife, and the kids, we go hang out in Disney World. We doing our thing. But that felt more like a national than a world to me because 85%, maybe 90% was American. And then you had Canada in there, you had Mexico.
There's all the travel bans. They had all the travel bans still. All the travel bans were still in effect from COVID, from the other countries. Yeah.
That's exactly right. So not everybody could leave their country. So to me, it felt like more of a national. So with that being said, I competed in the Masters division. I took 4th place right hand, and I took 2nd place left hand. And to me, and I pulled. He's born in Brazil, but he lives in New York, so it's like okay, fine. But I took 2nd to him. So to me, that was cool. I got to go on stage. I got the American flag draped over. I'm on the 2nd place, podium and stuff, and that felt good. That made me hungry to go to more. I just, things line up, didn't work out. But now it's like I got to right that wrong, so to speak. So I got to go there and finish my story. But to get there, and then you got to remember, there was no IFA National at that time. Now you have one. So you have to go there, and now you always have to do is show up. So again, somebody can go 2 and out, and they're on Team USA. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think, and by the way, did you know the president of the IFA will be at Nationals? Did you know that?
I did see that. And that's pretty cool that he's going to show up. Mm-hmm. I actually like that a lot. I think that's going to be cool that people are going to be able to connect with him directly. I don't know how accessible he will be, or if he's going to be kind of like just say like doing like one of those, pageant wave buys type of deal, or is he sticking around for conversation? Yeah.
Well, did you see the show? We had him on the show.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, it was like I have to find the episode and
But yeah, send that over my way, please.
Yeah, I'll do that after we get done wrapping this up. But my thing was like, at what point does the IFA take the training wheels off? And they're like, what do you mean by that? I was like, this come one, come all. I get that, you want people to experience world championship level. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, you don't want to see, because there is a I think it was Greece, not last year, but the year before. It's like Greece, right? And I was looking up some of the results, and like the Grandmasters or something like that, there were only 6 people in a particular class. 5 of them came from USA. Now, think about that for a second. I got to travel the globe to pull the same people I could pull my own country. You see what I'm saying? Because if I won that particular class, you can look it up. If I won that particular class, did I really win a world title? It's like the other guys were, the only other person that wasn't, from the United States was from the United Kingdom, which is fine. But it's like going, I don't want, and like I said, when you do it that way, it kind of waters it down, in my opinion, because then you want to win stuff that's prestigious. I've talked to a guy who said, with this WAF IFA, thing going on, that the better national to go to in comparison is the IFA. You're going to have a better turnout, deeper turnout in IFA than you would Unified Nationals. But in the same sense, he goes, once you get to that world level, then it's WAF. And I honestly, look at the people that come from WAF. They're the ones competing on the East versus West stage,
Well, because they've been doing it a little bit longer, right? They've been doing it for a little bit longer. They're a little more established. They've been around for a period of longer. They have the bigger pool to pull from because of that, right? Are we going to see a paradigm shift at some point? I don't know. With everything that's, all the drama that came out last year, all the conflicts that came out, it became more public, more than I think it's ever been. Because, I mean, unless I may have been an ostrich with his head in the sand, but I will say that I wasn't aware of that level of politics drama at the top, I wasn't aware of it until last year, and I was like, "Whoa, what is this shit?" This is insane.
It wasn't like that. I got into the sport in 2011. Well, actually, late 2010. I got into the sport, and everybody was gunning for that because it meant something. Because all these other organizations weren't around. East versus West wasn't around. MAC wasn't around. All the Montana Army. It was all about and we still had our top guys going. But you think about it, our top guys are kind of been there, done that. Name Brazil, Chapey, Bajan, Brazil. All those guys have been there. Ron Bath, they've been there and done that. They've gone to WAF and won world titles and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, to them, it's like, I can't see, and I don't want to speak for them, but when you've done that, can you see yourself going, okay, I can go to World Championship and pay for everything myself, or I can go to Turkey or wherever East versus West is held at now and get paid, my flight paid for it, hotel paid for it, and then here's my show up money. If I win, I get an extra, kick down for some funds or whatever. So, but, for me, I got to right that wrong because, yes, I do want that national title for my resume. I do want that world title for my resume, but I want to do it the right way if I can. And I don't want to do
Absolutely. You want to earn it. Listen, like my tattoo says, the progress is in the struggle. If I am not working hard for something and it's, if it's easily handed to me, it doesn't feel substantial to me. It doesn't feel substantial. I didn't earn it. I didn't earn my place there, in the table that I want to sit at. Speaking of earning a place at the table I want to sit at, I'm sitting at a MAC table. Just, I don't know if you can recognize the badge right here. We got John McAlpine in the chat saying, "What's up?" He's going to be at the MAC on Saturday. Big shout out to John. He's a big innovation, a big part of what MAC is today. So big shout outs to him. But making the effort to get to the next level and not just be handed it because you showed up.
Right.
That's what keeps me in the sport, right? I
Mhm.
earned my placement. Now, I gotta tell you, I've had some pretty big wins last year. I had some massive losses last year. I think
It's part of the sport.
this next arc for me at the Nationals is to prove to the world, no, I earned all those things those opportunities I got. The other guys that I competed against were just that much better than I am at that moment. But it lit a fucking fire under my ass so that now I can sit there and say, guess what, dudes? I'm coming back. I'm coming back with blood because the blood's in the water right now, and I'm hungry. You know,
I like that attitude, and like I said, the goal is to top three, make the podium, and then focus on Japan for Worlds. Because think about it, man, do I have a decent shot at winning it? Maybe, maybe not, because I'm pulling Master and Grandmasters now because now I'm 50. So it's like, I think I have a legitimate shot, but, not knowing who's all going to be there from what country. But, obviously I got to make sure I get my weight down. But the thing you got to realize is that, some people, there's always going to be naysayers. We live in a world now where people naysay,
yeah.
and you can do something good, and then there's always that one person or persons that'll find a way to kind of knock you down where you can't enjoy your moment. And I look at it like this, if you and I go to Tokyo and win the world title, we did our job. Our job is to show up and compete. All the rest is just details. We can't control who does show up, right? We can't control that. Now, to sit there, and I guarantee you can win that IFA world title, and then some way, somehow, someone's going to say, yeah, but it wasn't a WAF title. Okay. You want to know my argument to that is? Listen up. Everybody in the chat, I can't see the chat, but hey, listen up. It goes like this. If I push this chat button, will the chat come up?
I think so.
Well,
They're not super active today.
There we go. Okay, so check this out. Here's my theory on that. You mean to tell me, do you recognize Johnny Walker as a world champion? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you recognize Alan Fish as a world champion? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Okay. So here's the thing. Those guys were winning world championships and they didn't go to WAF. You gonna tell me that those world championships weren't legit? Now, WAF was established in what, 1979?
Mm-hmm.
And the first ever WAF Worlds is in Canada, right? So there's a history lesson, by the way, folks. So think about this. There were different organizations that were called a world championship, right? The WPPA or WPAA, whatever, that was noticed as a world championship. Johnny Walker was winning those. Those ABC Wild World of Sports with John Brzezinski and Walker and all those other guys winning, that was considered a world championship. The WWC, the Wrist Wrestling, those ones they had in Petaluma every year in October, those were considered world championships. You go ask Ingen, he's won a couple. You go ask Bill Pickup, he's been there. Now, was it WAF? No, it wasn't. But nonetheless, there were world championships, and people won those, and they claim that. So to sit there, it's like, come on, people, like we're just fighting over oranges. And besides, I got told, oh, you should come to WAF. I'm like, if I can't win an IFA, then I don't need to be at WAF. I gotta finish this first, and I gotta sign my letter of intent or wherever the fuck and apologize or whatever, and compete on or whatever that needs to happen.
So I gotta say, in this day and age, though, it's unfortunate, and shoot me down if you like to, but in my opinion, I think way too many people's success is written on comparison.
Mm-hmm.
It is no longer about what they do as an individual as much as what they do in comparison to the next individual. And I don't see that. If I'm better than I was yesterday, guess what? I'm a success, period.
Right.
There's no room for interpretation there. It's just black and white. I was successful. If I took a step back from where I was, okay, that's a setback, quite literally. That doesn't mean that tomorrow, guess what? I could take 3 steps forward and overcome said setback. Plain and simple.
You see this bracelet I'm wearing, this orange one? Can y'all see what it says?
I love it. Failure is not final.
Failure is not final. You see that? My son wrote that in one of his books before he had passed away. And so we all got bracelets with that on there. So, I take that all the time. Yeah, you get knocked back down, but can you get back up? That's what it comes down to, right? So, you have to do what you got to do, because I'm gonna tell you something. Not everybody got the same path. You're gonna have a group of people that want to be on that, Montana Armbender stage. You got some that want to be elites. They want to be on that East versus West stage, or even the MAC stage. We'll get to MAC in a second. And everyone has a different path. That's it. There's a lot of organizations. There are a lot of tournaments. Yes. A lot of organizations. Yes. But there's also a lot of people, and not everybody's on the same level. So
you're absolutely right. Not everyone is at the same level. I do want to fast forward the clock, because I do want to talk about something that's coming up in the future about people getting to that level. How they can get there, about people getting to that next level, right? What can they do and how can they do so? And my theory is that, when I saw a massive flux in the Northeast in arm wrestling was after a Devin Lorette seminar, right? Mm-hmm. But I've only seen one, right?
Yeah.
But I've seen other seminars throughout the nation. Who is doing more seminars? And I saw a post from Bob Brown asking for seminars, say, hey, this is what I'm willing to offer this. This is what services I want to bring to the table. I immediately, I think before he even right after he hit send, I was one of the first people that commented and reached out to him, and I booked him right away, because I have a new establishment, I just redid my garage and redid my training center. And I was like, I have a perfect venue for you to help train people. And we got about 15, 20 people showing up to show them. It's a 2-day seminar, literally the same weekend as it's May 16th and 17th that I got going on. And it's going to be 2 days of learning from someone who has accrued so much knowledge and so much information. I mean, those who don't know who Bob Brown is, look him up, check him out, reach out to me. I still got room available for it, because this guy is a very active puller. He's been around for a very long time, multiple decades. Now, in your opinion, how does one get to the next level? How does one bring themselves up to the next level?
Well, yeah, seminars helps, you got to find out who you are and what you are first, and I meant styles, because there's no one way to train for arm wrestling. There's no one style for arm wrestling. So if you're a guy that likes to go into a hook and all that kind of stuff, probably doesn't benefit you to go to a Travis Bajan seminar, does it? You know what I'm saying? So you got to find out, what your style is and what you are, because the only one I've seen in person was Travis's, but Todd Zilla has done seminars. Devin has done tons of seminars, and they're out there. You just got to go out there and the language they speak, if you're willing to put the work in. And sometimes, this sport can be fickle, make people fickle, where it's they all want to post their wins. They all want to, get their cameras out because they want to get that pin on somebody and throw it out there. Look what I did. It's whatever, I personally don't care. I usually use that as a gauge to gauge myself strength-wise. But, to get to that next level, you got to travel, if I'm being honest. You can't be that one guy that's that big fish in a small pond unless that pond's pretty fucking big. You can't be that guy and be like, okay, I don't travel. You got to get out there, because you have to go to these big tournaments that's out there and make some noise, because sooner or later, all these promoters are out there, all the Tim Talmadges and the Ian Carnegies of the world, JJ Jackson, whoever, Bill Collins, they're out there. They'll see it. If you do good and knock some heads, they'll see it. So what's the latest thing we got now? If you go to an EBW tournament and do good, then guess what? You'll catch somebody's eye. Did Logan Bidner not do that? Right? Right there. And glad, I'm always going to be behind the person, male or female, who wants to stick their toe in international water and go out there and just to see what, because there's levels to this.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not
But
going to
you won't
sit
know
there.
until you get out there, right? You won't know what that level is, where you stand in that level until you actually put yourself out there.
Every puller out there, if they don't admit this or fucking lie to themselves, they always want to know, how good can I really be, or how good am I? It's one of the two, right? The only way you're going to find it out is you got to go elsewhere. You can't just sit there and beat up on all the people you can beat, what they do, month in, month out, or wherever the fuck, you got to challenge yourself. You don't know how good you are until you come out of your comfort zone. And I've always said that. And I've done that going to the South, the Midwest, the East Coast. I've done that going to Canada and Mexico. And hell, I've had a chance to, I was very fortunate to pull the Arm Wars up in England a few years back. They got some studs there. So, when you do that kind of stuff, you got to bring your A+ game and make it count. Go for broke. Because you never know. Your stock can rise in a loss. I think some people get caught up on the fact that so much about wins and losses that if they lose, they feel like, everything is done for. Not necessarily. I've seen people's stock rise in a loss. You mean to tell me even though Bogdan lost that match, his stock ain't risen? Come on now. We just talked about that, right? So, again, you can still have your stock go up even in a loss. But again, it all depends on, if you want to go that next level, you got to do some damage. Now, I'm kind of curious going forward with Logan because he made a comment when he got back that kind of made me scratch my head, about there's too many tournaments and this, that, and the other. And I'm thinking, okay, did you annoy some of the promoters out there? Because when you say that kind of stuff, that's going to be like, hey, what are we doing here? Why would you say that? And again, he might be emotional because he did very well in the tournament. And then, you go on the big stage against somebody who weighs a lot less than you and sat there and fucking stared at you and go, you're going to hit or what? That's kind of embarrassing, to anybody. But, that's part of the game. I don't know, but there's names out here in the States, that he can have hell of matches with. I would love to see him in go ahead.
No, I'll finish your thought. You want to see him in?
I mean, is he mainly a left? Or does he go both hands?
He does go both hands, but he does mostly left, from what I know.
Okay, so you could throw two names out. Is he ready for a Cody Merritt or a Corey West? Just you know what I'm saying? Like, if he's there, like I said, this is not me knocking Logan. I'm excited for him, but sometimes, do I think that comment needed to be on social media? No, I don't think it did. That's my opinion, though, because it's like that could be taken the wrong way.
It almost sounds like, from my experience, because I do hear a lot of people saying there are too many tournaments, and sometimes it comes from the people who have been around for a long period of time, right? Mm-hmm. I could hear that being almost mimicked from somebody else, whom they may respect, a puller may respect it. And then I'll have a conversation with them at practice. I'll be like, the opportunities I've gotten in the short time that I'm in this sport is because I go out to as many tournaments as I do. And I can only go out to as many tournaments as I do if they're available for me to do so. So, yes, not everyone is as available or as free as I am to go and compete, but there are some people who are. And the fact that you have options and you have opportunities like you do, I think that, I even commented this and I don't care years. Logan, listen, if you didn't have the abundance of tournaments available to you, would you have the recognition you have available right now? Mm-hmm. And that recognition that he's got, or that some of the newer pullers got, it's because of the abundance of tournaments and the amount of opportunities that people have to pull.
Right. There's a couple of comments in the chat I want to get to.
Yeah.
What's up, Maddie?
What's up, Maddie? Maddie, we're going to talk about you in a moment.
Yeah. Raymond Cody, what's up, my friend? Country Crust in the house. Eric had a interesting comment. He goes, there's an elephant in the room as far as getting to the next level, if you know what I mean. That's why I like about Montana Armbender super matches. You want to
Yeah.
talk about it? We can talk about it. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's rip that Band-Aid off.
Okay, let's talk about PEDs. A lot of
Yep.
people who know me know my stance on that. Not a big fan of it. Honestly,
Same.
in my opinion, if we can have two leagues, like, hey, this league, you guys can take all the PEDs you want, have at it. Over here, natural pullers, have at it. Because we all know there's always going to be a handful of people who are feeling themselves. And they go to these tournaments knowing good and damn well they have a distinct advantage over a lot of people, over a good chunk of people in that weight class.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of them are natural and some of them aren't. And it's like going, okay, you know, you won, but did you really win though? If you're not taking Flintstone vitamins, where the fuck you're taking, that result still the same. You know what I mean?
No, I listen. I'm in a full agreement with you on there. You know, I have gotten second and third place across the board to the people who are just juiced to the gills.
Mm-hmm.
They got, you know, and you know, but here's the other side of that coin that I wanted to share. While I've gotten second and third, I'm still in the match. You know, I may not have. I found something. I found a lane. Ooh, I can actually hold my own. They didn't just flash pin me and overwhelmingly dominate me at the table.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is a win in my book. I go home with that knowledge personally. I may not have the first gold walking around on my chest, but I got the knowledge knowing I'm the best that could have been here at a natural level. Period.
Right.
You know,
well, it goes back to, like, you know, what does that athlete want? What's their path? Because I mean, for me, it's not that serious. For me to be doing that kind of stuff, I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't need to be doing that kind of stuff. It's not that, to me, you know, I go to a tournament because I like the one-on-one battle. You know, I like meeting new friends, you know, and everything else, cherry on top. It's not that serious. But when I got into the sport late 2010, it was don't ask, don't tell. And now the sport has evolved. Oh yeah, I'm running this, that. They'll tell you what they're running.
it's like a laundry list.
They're telling you, oh yeah, I'm taking 55 millimeters of B64-7X. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that is, man. Is that a radio station? I don't even know what the hell that is, right? So you got that going on, right? But now it's like going, I was like, and I sit there like going, that's fine. You've beaten people who are juiced to the gills. I've beaten people. A lot of times I didn't know till after the fact, but still, it's like going, okay. And you know, the old Travis Bajan comment, well, I'm the reason why you got to juice, because you can't beat me when I'm natural or when you're natural. So, man, you can go by there if you want to. You can kind of go there. But, you know, to me, it's not natural. What I don't like, because I've gone through this shit before with some of the guys in my own state where they'll be like, hey, you know, I'm not on anything. I'm only on TRT, which they're not lying, but what they don't tell you is what they're on to go with the TRT. That's what they don't tell you. Like, come on, is it that serious? You want to win against some people that bad? You know, like, don't. I mean, here's my thing. If you're gonna take it, fine, whatever. I don't prefer it, but if you take it, that's on you. That's cool. But admit to it. Don't sit there and hide behind it. No, I'm not.
Don't hide behind it. Yeah.
Like,
don't hide behind it.
Balls. Yes, if you don't have the balls to sit there and spend that money for it, and then act like, you know, and that's probably why a lot of them can't fucking travel, because all that money is going to their fucking, you know, their sauce. And then they can't fucking, you know, afford to go travel. They rather sit here. And then that's another thing too. Don't be fucking juicing, right? And then stay at local events and beat up on the people just to stroke your ego. That's the most asinine thing that goes on now. But yes, I mean, Montana Armbender, awesome. They test people. There you go.
Yeah, no, you know what? Real quick to Eric's comment, and then I'll read the comment above that. Montana Armbender, some of the bigger tournaments should test winners. Some people would pay extra fees to knowing that the top guys would be tested. Mm-hmm. I think that, you know what, that invites a little too much chaos and too much expense. How about you just sit there and say, listen, this is, and like you said, to your point, I would like there to be a natty league, and I would pay an extra fee if it is, knowing the guys that I'm going up against aren't genetic mutations of a human. You know what I mean? They're not science experiments type of deal. And then, the other ones, if they're not, they're lesser fees, they're lesser fees, whatever you may be. I don't know how you would do. How would you go about differentiating those two leagues? Would you change up the cost and the entry fee so that you can accommodate for the testing? Because I know it's not cheap. That is not a cheap process or endeavor.
Well, yeah. I mean, that one of the main reasons why we're not in the Olympics, because you got to have drug tests, and that costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Shit ain't fucking cheap, and I guess if you wanted to, I mean, Montana Armbender, man, they're not tournaments. They're all super matches, by the way. So, what you got to do is kind of go, okay, well, if you're going to raise the stake, and have you seen their events? Do you know how that goes?
I watched the event, but when it comes to the testing, I'm not sure how that process goes.
No, I mean, they test prior to them showing up, so that way it can be on the up and up. But when you said should they charge more money, raise the price, to have them there, how it works at a Montana Armbender, it's like an auction. Let's just say you and I are up there on the table, and all of a sudden, hey, there's a lot of money in Montana. I don't know what the hell goes on over there, but they got a lot of money and sponsorship.
They do.
You go up there, all of a sudden, there's $300 on the table. You and I are pulling for, not of our own pocket. Then all of a sudden, a girl comes up. There's another 500. Okay, cool. Now we're at 800. Okay, then somebody else throws in a couple hundred. Then here's $50 there, and all of a sudden the pot gets bigger and bigger, and we're pulling for that. Ain't nobody put no money in athlete wise. It's the sponsors and stuff. So that's cool what they're doing. And I like that. I hope
more events do that.
If they want to keep this thing going, stay true to yourself. That's the one thing Knuckles Up didn't do. That's the one thing, some of these other leagues that folded, they didn't stay true to themselves. They tried to be somebody that they weren't. Montana Armbender, be you. Mac, be you. Don't try to be like anybody else. Don't try to go, oh, you guys are trying to be like EVW. No, you're not.
No.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. I'm a full agreement. And that's what one of the things that I like is there's room for it all, right? There's room for all the different personalities, all the different flavors that we have in this sport, and it excites me whenever I see the Can-Am connection because you guys are a testament to that. Yeah. You guys are a testament to that room for the growth and the potential of what this sport can be. And what it will be, moving forward. Somebody said, oh, when are we going to become mainstream? When are we going to be on major TV networks? I give it within the next 5 years, 10 years, you're going to see it become a household name sport. The way that it's growing.
Dan, we've been there and done that. You go back to the early to mid 80s, Wide World Sports, we on ABC, been there and done that. Fox Sports, been there and done that. ESPN, been there and done that. And we've done that, but the amount of money you have to put up there, like you go to Wall. Remember when Wall was on ESPN back like 10 years ago now? It can't be that long. Well, you also got that's technically what, a 50-minute show maybe? Because you got to put the commercials in, But you got to go, okay, we can't put the whole tournament in 50 minutes. So you better edit some of that shit out. And some people who are thinking, who thought they were going to be on TV, they weren't, because it's kind of like, okay, you got to edit some of that stuff out. Your best bet is to make it to the finals, then you get the whole, the whole.
You get the whole show, yeah. That's fair.
To be mainstream, I think, not to be negative, but this is about as good as you're going to get. You can't
you think
have.
So?
I hope I'm wrong, but you can't have. Look what we got right now. We got promoters that can't get along, bashing each other. You got some people telling other folks, hey, don't go to that tournament. Who the fuck does that shit? That's not cool.
So I want to speak to that, actually. I want to speak to that because there are some people who say, I'm not going to said tournament as, like, let's say I'm Polar A and there's 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
And I say, I'm not going to either of those tournaments because I have a pre-existing engagement or something like that.
Right.
Now, those promoters catch wind that I found out through the game of telephone, right? That I'm not going. But they found out because they said somebody else sat there and said, "Oh, they told me not to go." Because they twisted the truth of what you said. Like, no, I never told them not to go. I just said, I'm not going because I have X, Y, and Z to do.
Right.
Now,
yeah.
right. So a lot of times, and this is one of those things that transparency, again, back to the transparency word,
Right.
it really behooves everybody to sit there and say, hey, so and so said something about you not coming, or you telling people not to come. But didn't you have fun on my last time? I never said not to come. I just said I wasn't because I got something else to go.
Mhm.
That would squash 90% of the beef.
Right.
90% of the beef that people have and promoters have with individuals and entities in the sport of arm wrestling would be squelched completely because of communication, open-ended communication. And to your point about the growth and about it being on televised sports, look at what Toff is doing. We're going to get to that in a moment. By the way, guys who are watching, this is going to be a little bit of a longer show because we got a lot still to cover. And I love it, and I love it, the energy. But so, like, look at what Toff is doing. Toff has got this city-driven team, a region-driven team of pullers to bring in eyes, but they're doing it in a very different format because they see that, hey, the MAC table is one of the missing elements that we were missing previously. With the MAC rules, in my opinion, I think it was by way of streamlining how fast you can have a match, how fast you can set a match up, how fast you can actually compete in. And it just looks like a great experience across the board. What's your take on that? And do you think that they might have a missing puzzle piece to help further along mainstreaming the sport?
You talking about Mac or Tough?
A little bit of both, because they are both affiliates of each other.
Okay, so can we start with Mac first?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why does, because I know you've probably heard it too, and you're a Mac person, why does Mac get so much heat, per se? Why do you think they get so much heat?
It's different.
It is different. I mean, some of the old school pullers and people probably don't like Mac. Why are they trying to do that? Change the table, change the rules. Rightfully so. Yeah, you're right. They changed the table. They altered the rules and stuff. But can I be completely honest with you though when I say this? Because you're gonna laugh when I say it. Everybody in the chat, you're gonna laugh when I say this. Donut hole tables. Do we not evolve from that? Right? The wrist wrestling where I grip you here, my hands under here, we're jogging. Do we evolve from that? Then what the fuck are we talking about?
Exactly.
Right? Now, I've never competed on the MAC table, so I really can't say one way or the other. I would like to just to say I did and just get a.
We got to change that.
Right.
Ian Carnegie, if you're watching, man, get this man on a MAC table.
And maybe I need to like show up at a MAC Challenger Series or wherever, that kind of thing. But again, it's like going, Mac gets so much shit. It's like going, well, fuck, we've evolved from all these different tables over, and then do we not evolve from styles? I mean, it's almost like with the King's move. And I mean, do we not evolve from like the hook? Because remember, back in the day, you power hook, if you slipped, people frowned upon you about that because you're trying to top roll. Did we evolve from that? Of course we did. But for Mac, I like what they're doing. I will say this though, I don't think in the hook ranking should count for Mac. I think Mac, if I'm JJ, if I'm Ian, if you're watching, if those guys have their own set of rankings just for Mac only, it would be a godsend because I don't think you can use those rules and have that person, that athlete, male or female, and implement those wins into the in-hook rankings because it's under a different rule set. And I say that, but look, okay, so here, remember when was it Mac 1 and they had Heidi Corder versus Jocelyn on the MAC table? Not a problem, but the problem was that because they were pulling for the #1 spot in the hook rankings, they changed the rules, which is fine. Change the table too, though. Now, the outcome would have been different, maybe, maybe not. But all I'm saying is that fact that you can't use those rules in that table for something that's made for a 7x7 rules and tables in the hook rankings. I just think Mac should have their own rankings. That's my opinion, though. I'm not saying anything bad about that. That's what I think.
As somebody who is a Mac guy, and I do also like to participate at WAF style tables, like standard tables, 7x7. I actually do like doing both styles. I actually am in agreement with you on that. I do think that they should have their own rankings system. And with as many challenger series that we have, which, by the way, we're going to get into talking about my next challenger series that I'm hosting here. With as many challenger series as we have, as many events as we've had in a short period of time of Mac's existence, I think we should have our own leaderboard. Because not saying that it, and this is one thing that I want to stress. So anybody who's watching, anybody who's learning about Mac for the first time, Mac isn't here to replace anything. It is here to supplement. It's here to grow alongside and maybe even help grow, because people are going to gain interest on Mac but fall in love with WAF or IFA. Vice versa. They're going to gain interest in WAF or IFA and then fall in love with Mac. It can all grow simultaneously, and one shouldn't have to cannibalize the other. One should not have to hurt the other to grow or step upon the other's back to grow. And that's one of the things that I personally am here to do, to state, is that while I am hosting a Mac Challenger Series, guess what? People are going to be warming up on WAF style tables.
See,
but they're going to be, and will I have a WAF style event here? Yeah, you better believe it. I will, because I am a believer that there's space for both worlds to grow simultaneously.
Right. Now, again, and the only reason why I said that is because, if I'm not mistaken, in Mac, can't you start with a slightly carved shoulder?
So, from my understanding, your shoulder needs to be parallel, not with the table, but your opponent's shoulder.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, if he's like that, then they can do the same thing. We're still parallel. You can't get away with that in another organization. That's all I'm saying. But, I think Mac's a great thing. One of these days, I'm going to have to get out to one of these tournaments just to stick my toe in the water. Now, pivoting to tough, the TAWF folks, that right there, that's cool and exciting, because we're talking, the United States haven't gotten there. I don't know if they got their teams yet. You can probably speak more about that, but we already had one match already. Toronto, there's 4. Well, first of all, let's break it down, Daniel. So everybody in the chat, there's 8 teams, 4 in Canada, 4 in the U.S. So the 4 in Canada, one match already took place. It was Toronto versus Montreal. Toronto won, I believe. The next one is it next week? Or
I think it is next week. It's Calgary versus
BC.
Vancouver. Yeah, Vancouver. There you go. Yep. And they got a really good team. So what we're gonna, the next one after that, I believe, is gonna be in April, late April. No, sorry, it's gonna be in May. It's gonna be in May, I believe. They're gonna be doing Florida.
There's the 4 teams in the States: Tampa,
Detroit, and Vegas, and Long Island.
And Vegas. So yeah.
So I think in May they're going to be doing the Tampa versus Vegas, and then in August they're going to be doing Long Island versus Detroit. And this is all part of the preseason format, because I do know that we're not in full season yet. We're still trying to get the ball rolling and whatnot with it to help it get a little more traction, get more eyes.
November, right? I believe the season starts in November of this year.
Yeah, I believe the full on season should start in November, because it gives enough loading time from August to November. So we will see what happens, in this. But I think that, like you said, it's cool. while it's new and different, and some people have problems with new and different, it's still something that's kind of cool. You can get, hey, I know that puller on that team. While I may not know the entire team, I know that one. So I'm going to be rooting for the squad that my dude's representing.
My co-host of the Cam Connections involved in that, Ryan Espy. He lives in Manitoba, Canada, folks. Manitoba, Canada. But he's pulled for the Vancouver team. Why does that? And why do I make a big deal of that? Because Manitoba, to get from there to Vancouver, BC, you have to pass by Alberta, which is the other team.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have to. You don't have to necessarily live in that area. I don't know what the rules are about that, but the thing is, what you guys got to understand is that this could be looked at as like the arm wrestling version of the maybe the minor leagues, I guess, baseball, because you get drafted. There's a coach for every team. You get drafted, right? And there's strategy purposes. So let's just say, you got your lightweight, light heavyweight, supers, like 4 weight classes, right? So there's three guys per class. Then you got some subs, and the reason why they have that is because if one of the starters can't go, hey, you ready to roll? That kind of thing, But you got to realize too is that let's just say, for the hell of it, I'm on Team Long Island, right? Dan, you're the coach, and I'm going against somebody I know I can't beat, but there's a point system also. If I can make this do elbow foul, because if you lose points too, as much as you gain points.
Yep.
Now I can wear this dude out. I'll take a sacrifice. I will take a loss and wear this dude out. Then the next time he gets in there, we got the dub, because he's going to get it. You're going to get a fresh guy in there. He's going to blow right through him, and then there you get points. It's something to look up, guys. TAWF. Is it .com? Is that what it is?
.ca.
.ca. I would check it out, because I'm telling you, the rosters are there. I don't know how far U.S. has gotten yet, but I know the Canada team, they have their roster set.
Talk about the best way to segue into my event, Summer Kickoff 6. It's going to happen. So this year, people are going to be like, oh, why would you want to do it on that date? But it's the 6th Summer Kickoff on June 6th of 2026.
I see what you did.
So I didn't listen. It's always been, historically the first weekend in June. And it just so happens to land on the 6th this year. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. Because, I'm called the Nightmare. So I ain't afraid. But I got 22 super matches lined up that are challenge matches for the challenge series. I got headlining it. We'll talk a little more about the details. But headlining is the co-main event is Madison Walker versus Sarah Wilson, which is going to be an amazing fireworks. This has been a long time coming matchup that I've been wanting to see happen. Now I have the privilege of being able to put it on. Yeah. And then I got Saray Brown taking on Paul Cruz.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's 22 super matches and lead up to that event. So let me ask you something. Is this a pay-per-view? Is it going live or what?
So this is going to be live stream. It's going to be on the Mac channel as well as mine. We're going to get as much exposure to this as possible. Now, it's not just 22 super matches. It's going to be actually a no elimination tournament afterwards. It's a format that Table Monkeys, Jason Constantini, had worked on, and he's been utilizing it at every one of his events, and it's some MAC events. And pretty much it's a glorified round robin, if you may. Everyone polls everyone in their classes. So you don't go 0-2 and then you're done type of deal. So I got people traveling from Puerto Rico, people coming in from Canada, some people from all over the States, to be honest. And I'm doing some highlights on the individuals that are participating, and the tournament itself is going to be great because here's the thing, because Jason Constantini himself is going to be there along with a couple of other people who are TAWF scouting.
Scouters, okay.
We got some scouters who are going to be paying close attention to this tournament paying close attention because it's not just the most pins wins, it's the most pins with the least amount of fouls wins. So it's going to follow a very similar point system as what the top structure actually utilizes. So it gets you used to that format, gets you used to that, and gets you on that next level of experience. Oh, this is what is going to be expected of me moving forward. So while people may not be getting a super, and everyone's getting a super match at that moment, they're still going to get a lot of limelight and a lot of opportunities growing from this. And it excites me because I'm always about a clear pathway of progression, right? You know, the super match winners for the super matches, they're going to be placed onto the MAC card, a future MAC card, right? Mind you, big shout out to Send It Arm Fights. Jeremy Romano is sponsoring 2 out of the 22 super matches. Two winners will be receiving a $250 travel voucher to get them to the MAC card, right? So big shout out. Thank you so much for that, Jeremy. Really appreciate that. But, you know, back to the tournament. It's going to be a proving ground, if you may, for a TOF event and put you in the draft pool and put you in for the Long Island region. Actually, not just for Long Island region, because there's going to be some people from all over the country. So if there's a team from Florida, I got some people from Florida that are showing up. They could probably be drafted for that as well. So it's going to bring a lot more eyes onto you than just pulling at one event, you know. And that's what excites me about this one.
So let me ask you a question. I mean, because this how huge this is. Because, you know, aside from the 22 matches and the the tournament, think about this for a second. If you're going to have people there, scouts, what we can call them that, for the TAWF, this is also a breeding ground for Max. So it's like you can really turn some heads. And once again, what did we talk about earlier in the show? You want to, do good, go to bigger tournaments. Go to bigger tournaments. And that's how you get noticed. That's a perfect tournament, because then it's like, how many people are going to be there? If Jason's going to be there, people from Mac are going to be there. JJ Jackson might be there. And it's like, okay.
Oh, he's on the card. JJ is going to be there. He's on the card.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, now, if you want to be on the MAC card or possibly get drafted on one of the teams at the Tough League, this is your moment right here, folks. This is it right here. I mean, you don't get no better than that, right?
And just so everybody knows, I have my own MAC table, right, here in New York. So if you've never experienced a MAC table before, feel free to hit me up. I have open practices. This is not just something that's, got a dust cloth over it waiting to be used at a MAC event. This is used regularly, week after week, leading up to this event. So you have no excuse to not have experience on a MAC table. Oh, I don't want to participate because I don't know how to pull on that. Here's the opportunity right here.
Yep. Wow. June 6th, right?
Yep, June 6th.
Nice.
I'm excited. We got Merlene's coming out for this as well. And got some other pretty big names coming out for the tournament itself. From the Northeast region, as well as, the Carolinas, Florida, got some guys that are supporting their teammates that have super matches. I've announced every single match. There's a lot. We're going to go over that in weeks to come as we get closer to it. I don't want to, clog up the airways with too many names right now, but I am excited that we're going to have some of the best in the best, while we got those two main event and co-main event matches. Yeah. Each one of these other matches could be easily a main event in their own regard.
See that? And that's what we need. We need to put stuff out there. I think, a lot of people get all, and I'm glad, for one, it's going on live, because, does every event need to be pay-per-view? No, not really. But some people do. But I'm glad you're going, because that's how you get exposure. Hey, my event's going to be on my channel, whatever the case may be. And yeah, you want to get the exposure and get the exposure instead of just, I got to pay this much money. It's like going, if not to get off track, going back to what we talked about, if people weren't so hell-bent on trying to make money, Now I understand, making money is cool, but they're so hell bent on it. It's like going, oh yeah, well, we're gonna do pay-per-view for that. Thinking you're doing a pay-per-view for people that don't even fucking know who they are. Give me a reason why I should purchase this. I mean, yeah, you want to support everybody, but you can't. I mean, once upon a time, there was like a pay-per-view like every month. At this time last year, it was like, dude, I can't afford to go. I can't afford to do pay-per-view every month. Can't do that.
Big shout out to East vs West for doing that bundle package for the whole year. I like that. I listen. Even it might be a tough nut for one individual. If you have a squad of people who want to, come to practice, collect 10, 15 bucks from each person, boom, you paid for it in a heartbeat for a full year.
Yeah. I like it. There you go, people. Yeah.
So I will say this is happening at the Pit, which is in Deer Park, New York, which is also happens to be my house. So I am going to be getting not a food truck. I'm getting a food trailer, a 30-foot food trailer. It's going to have all different styles of food. Supermatch pullers are going to be eating for free. Tournament pullers are getting discounted meals, and everyone else is going to be full price. We're going to have family fun games, activities that are going to be, we have this blow up axe wall and a soccer ball dartboard type of deal. So it's going to be a very family friendly, with pretzels, freshly baked pretzels, snow cones. I'm turning this thing into a carnival, man. And
I like the idea.
I heard something actually was on your show that really kind of kindled this, because Tim Talmadge was saying, I keep hearing about people saying they have an experience that they want to offer. Guess what? That's exactly what I'm doing. I took a page out of his book, and I was like, what would attract me? Because I'm a father, I have an 11-year-old son. What would attract me to come to an event that I would say, I'm sorry, honey, I gotta go to like another event. I'm gonna leave the family behind. No, bring your family. Kids pull for free. Women pull for free. Come on down, everybody.
I can speak on. I've been to a handful of Tim Talmadge's events, and so Washington and Arizona. So I know what he does. It's like, hey, you do the tournament. After that, we're all going to meet up, and before that, hey, we're going to have dinner at this place. We're all going to meet there, and we'll just have a big old meal and hang out. Or hey, we're going to be at this hotel. We got the whole place rented out, whatever. We're going to have after pulling, meet and greet, all that kind of stuff. But yeah. So again, what makes me want to go there, or anybody for that matter? You want to have a good experience, or you want to go back. Like my experience with Arm Gods. Like damn, I went there and it's like, I've never been a part of that before. Like I've gone through some awesome events and stuff in my time in the sport, but I have to say with the Arm Gods, think about this. I mean, when we got there, it was like, hey, we're going to be in room such and such. Had to, went there, got our jersey, got our, weighed in and everything. And then we went to another room where it was like, okay, we're going to have the rest meeting, for the rules and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. We did that. Then, got to walk to the venue where it's going to be like, okay, cool. We're signing, posters and shirts and that kind of stuff. Never been a part of that. You get to walk out on stage. You get to pick what kind of walkout music you want, and they have everything all taped so that way you walk this area and that area, and you got the pyro going. You hit a pose, pyro's going. So I mean that kind of, and in the press conference, you had America sitting on one side, Great Britain on the other side. They're talking, yeah. So it was good, that it's all about the experience, right? So
yeah, and that right there, I think like you said, the exposure, right? Getting live, putting it out there. I want to attract not just arm wrestlers. I want to attract the non-arm wrestler. Say, what's going on here? What is happening? I need to pull over. Like, I don't know if you have garage sales over by you. Do you got garage sales?
Yeah.
When you got a really nicely done garage sale and you're not necessarily looking to purchase anything, don't you stop, pull over, and check out what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, you might not even want to buy anything, and then you kind of stop by, oh, what's going on there? And like, oh shit. All right. And
that's what I'm looking to do. That is what I'm looking to do. I want to bring in that rando off the street that sit there and say, "What's this? Oh, I used to be competitive in X, Y, and Z." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That I hear those conversations happening, but it's not happening in abundance as of yet. And I think this is how we can do it. At least how I can do it. Um,
Right.
so, which I gotta say, the one thing I will say we're gonna do a raffle as well. We're gonna have a big time raffle, and the benefits of all the proceeds from that raffle are gonna go towards my son's local Boy Scout troop.
Nice.
Um, so I'm gonna be donating anything that I get from that to the Boy Scout troop, up to including the 50-50 that we're gonna do. We're gonna raffle equipment, experiences, gift cards off of different companies from online type of deal. So, you know, it's something that you can be a part of my local community as well.
Awesome. That's good, man. I'm always, liking fundraisers and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that leads us to our last one. Speaking of liking fundraisers, the
Yes.
very following week, yours truly, is taking a trip all the way out to Oregon for the very first time in my life. I've never been that way, to that state of Oregon ever. So I'm looking forward to it, to participate in Jody's Summer Bash, which is for a great foundation and a great purpose and a great cause. Let's just take a
Yes.
moment to talk about it.
It was established in 2020. As you know, the long live Donald, like wearing the bracelet. What that Donald stands for is that was Donovan's his first full name, but then Donald, we just kind of shortened it up. We just kind of called him that. So he was involved in the ATV accident on July 4th, 2020, and eventually took his life. And, we thought, what can we do? Here's at the time he was four. He'd be right now, if he was still on, he'd be 20 years old right now. But, it happened when he was 14. And we decided, my wife and I decided after, spending days in ICU, hey, he's 14, why not donate his organs to people who need them, right? So we donated, lungs, heart, pancreas, kidneys, and that. We donated a lot of stuff. We got in contact with two people, and this was during the pandemic too, by the way. So everybody needs to understand that. So we've got in contact with two people. There was a lady in Texas who was on dialysis, and now she's not in the more. Got Donovan's kidney. There was a boy at the time. He might have been 6 months, 6 month old, and got his heart. He lives up in Washington, but yeah. So I mean, that right there spurred us. Okay, let's keep this thing rolling. Let's keep the memory of him. So basically, what it comes down to is what we do is that we offer services for youth in sports, right? If you need, like, hey, my daughter needs, this class for gymnastics, let us know. We'll see if we can help. Or, you need equipment for football, baseball, soccer, whatever. We're here to help. Dance, we're here to help. So, because we were one of those, we were those parents once upon a time where, Donovan did football, he did travel basketball, and we're like on the go, on the go, on the go. And yeah, there might have been times where my wife and I decided, yeah, well, we're going to go ahead and be late on this bill to make sure he goes and plays in that tournament, that kind of thing, right? So we've been doing that since, like I said, late 2020. And so we've been going strong every year. And this is the sixth. This tournament coming up is the 6th year, the 6th annual. So it's awesome. We get people from everywhere coming. I think this year might be the biggest as far as people coming from different parts of the country. Last year we had 182 entries, so that was pretty cool. But now we're thinking like yourself coming from New York, Marlene, South Carolina. We got the Canadian contingents coming down. I think Ray Codisay is going to make it out of California. Rob Terry, California. You got Jay Collins out of Illinois coming. I mean, the list goes on and on. So you got a super match, my friend. So
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But I wanted to say, turning your pain into purpose is such an admirable thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And it gives me goosebumps. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
It's an honor to be coming out and helping support. Because when I saw this event last year, I watched it. I watched it last year, I'm getting like emotional myself on this. And I felt your energy through the screen. And I think I messaged you like the next day and said, I want to get involved. How can I get involved? What can I do to help?
Right.
And that's this right here. What we have here and what we're doing, what you're doing is exactly why I'm in this sport. Because I alone am not a very strong individual. I'm not.
Right.
But together, we are stronger than anything that could ever take us out. And if we keep that within mind, you know, with your Can-Am connection, with your overall or an overarching mentality of just working together and just sharing those facts. Those are the facts. you
They
know,
are, you know?
and like it makes it that much more enjoyable to be a part of. So now I am grateful for the opportunity to be able to help out with this, but I'm even more grateful to go over there and kick Peter Laland's butt. I got to meet him. I got to meet him over this last October, and the kid looks strong, or November rather. Kid looks strong, but I'm going to tell you, he's got to look stronger. I'm coming in hot, man. I am coming in hot. I'm training up like nothing else. This kid has no idea what's coming his way because I suffered from a major loss on a big stage. I was at the Monster Factory, and I kind of walked out of there with my tail between my legs, type of deal, but with some purpose. So I'm going to tell you, Jody, I'm coming in a form that I've never like. Nationals is going to be, a slight display of what form I'm coming in at.
And I'm glad I'm so thank you for, coming out to the event. And I'm excited to have you out here. I can't pick a winner because I'm most likely I'm gonna be reffing the match. But the thing is though, is that because Peter's coming up to train next Sunday, actually. Come up here to train. But I told Peter, I was like, just so you know, I'm hanging out with the Nightmare in April. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna have fun at the house. We might even go live on YouTube. You never know. Why not, right? We may go live and stuff, and we're gonna have a good time and stuff. So, and of course, he's like, oh man, what's he like? I'm like, I've never met Dan. You've met him. You know more about that than I would. So, but he's been coming along pretty good. He actually, I think you met him at a Mac event, was it not?
Yep, it was a Challenger Series.
Yeah.
As a part of helping organize.
Yes, I mean he's been to a Mac event and stuff, so he said it's a little different, but he enjoyed it. He wants to go back, and he's one of those guys that I don't want to be just puller stuck in Oregon. I want to go ahead, I want to spread my wings and that kind of stuff. And I get that. I'm proud of him. I say, hey, I support you all the way, man, because again, there's not a lot going on in Oregon arm wrestling wise like it used to be. It's just not, and so he got it because he lives like 3.5 hours away from me. So, yeah, we're not close by any means. I mean, Oregon's a big state, but we're not. I live in the center of the state, so anywhere I go, I gotta travel, a ways. But no, he's gonna come up with his crew, train a little bit. My last training session before I get ready for Easton McCormick. But I tell you what, this tournament it gets bigger and bigger. I get excited, but then I also get stressed out because it's like going, okay, it's coming, I gotta get ready. I only do one event a year, so I can only imagine some of you promoters who do multiple ones. I don't know how you do it, but my wife and I do one a year, and it's the biggest fundraiser of all the fundraisers that we do. It's the biggest one by far. We do Super Bowl squares. We've done March Madness brackets. We've done basketball camps. So we've done stuff throughout the years and stuff to kind of keep the thing rolling. So.
I'm in a similar boat with you as doing one a year. I, spearhead, this one is my event. This summer kickoff is mine. And this is something that I organize solely. With help, of course. It takes a village, right? Like there's, the MAC team, they've been great in helping me get the medals and the shirts. I got the Natty Bros coming down to help out doing interviews. I got Zach, from Grip Deck, helping me out with awards, and Send It's helping me out, with sponsorship and getting things like that. So big shouts out to those guys. But any other event that you see me at, I'm more of like a, background dancer.
Right.
I'm not the guy running the show. I'm just helping out and assisting however I can because I'm in the same boat. I don't know how people can do this. I don't have the brain capacity to handle that much organization because I start my journey on this as of November. I secure the date. I secure, start, asking who my main and co-main events are going to be. I mean, I try to figure out what format I'm going to stick with, type of deal.
Right.
Hey, did that work last year, or do I need to change it up a little bit? And go from there. So I applaud you for this one because it did catch my eye, and that grassroots experience, right, is
Yeah.
so meaningful, impactful that I'm getting showcased at something that is so powerful that once caught my eye. Now, hopefully, I get to be part of it, catch another big name's eye or even bigger name's eye than mine, and help progress this as much as I possibly can.
Yeah. Ryan Espy, he'll be there.
Beautiful, awesome,
Yeah, he'll be there. And
good dude.
I'm hoping Tamara Mitz will be there too. So
Okay.
yeah. So Peyton Pickering out of Saskatchewan, Canada, is pulling Merlene in a super match. So you got USA versus Canada right there. Of course,
There you
got
go.
Peter. We got Jay Collins and Rob Terry going on. So again, then you got the tournament. We do with the kids first. We got the kids event, kids, teens. Then we go right. Well, actually, we do the super matches first. But tournament wise, we'll go kids. We'll go teens. Then we'll go to amateurs. Then we go with the pros. So and on the site, so where we have it at, General Duffy's, there's food trucks there.
Nice.
And it just so happens that there's going to be a concert that same weekend. So we're going to be on a big giant concert stage. So like the night, so we have early weigh-ins that Friday. There's a concert that night there. So it's going to be like, hey, come check it out. And, that kind of thing. It's going to be awesome. So
I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't, this year of arm wrestling is going to be an impactful one because, as I mentioned earlier, after this event, I'm going to be going to across the border the next month, in Mexico. Marilene's going to be there. Puerto Rico is going to be there. I'm actually, not only am I representing the United States and New York, but I'm also representing Puerto Rico because I am half Puerto Rican. Those are my boys that were there with you last year, and they're going back. And I'm excited for everything that we have coming up this year. It shows. I think that points the needle of direction to anybody who's a naysayer of how many events that we have going on. I think we're pointing that needle to a higher level of events, higher caliber of events, and we're bringing in more eyes into the sport because I got to tell you, week after week, I don't know about you, but week after week, I'm getting more and more people contacting me directly. Hey, I saw this arm wrestling thing going on. How do I participate? And I got 3 new guys in the last 2 weeks.
I'll get an email, I'll get a call, I'll get a text,
Yep.
and I'll send them the flyer, and it has all the information on there, the weight classes, the times we start, the times of the early weigh-ins, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be happening. I'm excited, but then like I said, all the anxiety kicks in getting ready for it. That's what really gets me. So it's kind of like, okay, here we go. I know it's going to be a long 2 days. Like,
oh yeah,
you got to make sure all your T's are crossed and I's are dotted. So,
trust. Like, I don't know what I decided to do. Like, I originally was going to be like, I'm going to do 10, maybe 15 super matches, and then I blinked it on. I had 22 on the card. I'm like, how'd that happen? How'd that happen? And then, JJ's a glorious human. He was like, remember, it's a challenger series. So, people are expecting, more than just, 10, 12 matches type of deal. And I'm like, a good point. And a lot of the matches are actually both hands, So organizing and orchestrating the match order, that's a dance in itself, man. So when you want to have certain people pull, it's like, maybe I need to get another super rep to give these guys a break.
Right.
You know what I
I get
mean?
that. Yeah.
So listen, Jody, it's always an honor, always a privilege and a pleasure to have you on the show. I am grateful. I'm going to be tuning in tomorrow. Everyone that's on watching or that's coming in to watch, please make sure you tune in to subscribe to Jody Williams because he's got the Can-Am connection. He's got two Canadians and two U.S. guys on the screen. They're going to be talking about the most difficult conversations that people usually go to at each other's throats with, but these guys are so civil with it. They really are.
Oh,
Check it
yeah.
out.
I can give you a heads up about what we're going to do tomorrow. So tomorrow,
Yeah, let's give a preview a little bit. I'm
a lot
curious.
of this, well, like I said, the Arnold was this weekend. So Ryan
Yep.
Espy there. So I mean, he won.
Right.
He'll tell you all about it and stuff. And there were some things that kind of went like, that he wasn't real happy with per se. But you'll find all that about that out. So I'm sure there'll be a soapbox episode. So that was a soapbox, right?
Gotta love the soapbox. You gotta have like a little like an offshoot name of a podcast, like the soapbox.
Well, yeah, but then we also have the which a lot of people, it's a running joke, right? The After Dark segment.
Yeah.
I've had a few people ask me, what exactly is that? And so, it's where we talk, because I'll fill you guys in. After Dark segment is a segment where we know a lot more than most on the comings and goings and the latest and greatest of the sport that nobody else knows yet, because we are who we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of talk amongst ourselves, and it's kind of like, okay. So the running joke was like, okay, if you want to know what we're talking about, just go ahead and send us $100 each, PayPal, and we'll let you know what we talk about. We'll let you in on it. Then all of a sudden, it got to be $1,000 and all that kind of stuff. It's a running joke, but we still have our segment though. I mean, once we go off the air, then the four of us, we kind of talk about the comings and goings. Last week, Neil actually joined our dark episode. Yeah.
I'm sure that was a very interesting experience.
So like I said, it's always fun because then it's kind of like, the soapbox gets out of control. It's like, what the fuck is going on, and this, that, and the other, and hey, did you hear about so and so? And so, like I said, there's times where we know a lot more than most, whether that be upcoming matches, the behind the scenes. We know a lot about it. So,
listen, I'll say this at the tail end of the show. There's a lot of channels out there that cover the dramatics. This is a channel that likes to cover what's going on, not necessarily the emotional side of things that people can get, lean one side or another, or the extremist, if you may. But I like to highlight all the good that's going on because I think we need to have that space covered because it can't always be negative, right? It can't rain every day. Like I forgot what movie that's from.
And sometimes we get a lot of flack. Why you guys always talk negative? Like, no, it's just if it's negative that may affect you, then it's an issue. But we talk about the positives too.
Yeah.
You look at it. We talked about Bogdan's match last weekend.
Yep, I remember that.
Who you are, that could be positive, that could be negative. That depends on what side of the fence you sit on. We talked about it though. So is that positive? Is that negative? I don't know. That's to their discretion. So
some might consider it a controversial topic, but I think it's a real one. I like it. I enjoy it. And I share some of my opinions on it, but I don't dive too deep in it. And I think it's one of those things that like the people who are in my inner circle know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right, man. It has been almost 2 hours. Is there anything else you want to add, ask, anything you want to share?
Thank you for having me on the show again. Everybody, June 6th. He's putting on the show. And if you want to know where you stand in some talent wise, I want to be on a MAC card or MAC. There's your chance right there. I want to be able to be drafted for a tough league. There's your chance right there. It don't get no better than that. But preceding that, next weekend on the MAC channel and your channel, you got a MAC event. So everybody join. What time does that start?
That's going to be, I'm not sure. It's not going to be on my channel. It's going to be on the MAC channel, though. I'm not going to be there. I think it's at 1 o'clock it starts. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But you know what? Hang on, guys. I will put this up on the screen so you guys can get the facts directly from the source. Where is that channel? There we are. Go ahead, click that QR code. Takes you right to their Facebook channel, Facebook page. All the information about the upcoming event will be right there.
There it is. My friend, thank you again for having me on your show again. I know you'll be ready to roll tomorrow when we unroll another edition of the Can-Am Connection. So
I'm tuning in. You know what? I gotta say, when I'm at work and like it's just right before my break time, so it's like I'll be in my break and people will be looking at me like, or my facial expressions, or I'll be yelling at the screen or laughing, or people look at me like, "What's wrong with this guy?" It's a great show, everybody. Tune into it.
Yes, 9 o'clock West Coast time, lunchtime for you guys on the East Coast, high noon. So join us on my channel as we peel back the curtain of this past weekend's Arnold Classic and the North America Championship. So there you have it.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it. All right, thank you everybody for tuning in.